Why do I put the siding on first on a high performance home before I've had a chance to do the rough ends and seal and flash all the penetrations? That's what we're talking about today. Framing and mounting blocks, and specifically why am I putting the siding on first. I'm Scott True. So this is one of our spec homes that we build to high performance standards. And it's a good example of how we would build a high performance home on a budget. We are using advanced framing here. I will probably do a whole nother video about the details and all the different variations that you can do with advanced framing. But in this video, I really just want to focus on the process in general and this idea of putting siding on first. But before I get into that, I will just give a few details about that advanced framing. As I have said, it is 2x6 walls, exterior walls, 24-inch on center. We do our California corners so that we can get insulation all the way to the corner, back, into the corners. We do our open wall connections. In standard framing, you'll often see wall connections closed off, and there's a void there that never gets insulated. So here's an example of an open wall connection where we can insulate all the way through that. And we do laterally brace our headers up against the top plate. They are usually a 2-ply header pushed to the outside so we can insulate on the inside. Right now the house is ready for insulation. We've done all the rough ends. I've got sheetrock up on the garage wall so that we can spray foam that. And I've got sheetrock in the bathrooms and laundry room so that we can go ahead and put insulation there for sound. We also have pony walls built in the attic so that they can spray foam against those. These are just some quick details. This video is not about that. We'll get more into those details in other videos. But just wanted to give a quick kind of overview of where we're at in this house. So let me tell you about the problems that I've had with siding later on spec homes. On a custom home is totally different, because on a custom home, we have a bigger budget, we're moving a little bit slower, and the framers expect to come back to do that siding. They expect that really they're going to come and go several times, because usually a custom home we're taking our time on is a little bit more complex. Now on a spec home, a spec home is usually moving faster. It's less complex. Things are more simple. That's what I try to do anyways. And the framers, they don't want to come back over and over and over. And so with the spec home framers, I've had a problem with them coming back for the siding. And in some cases, they don't come back at all. And so that's an issue. The other issue I've had, with these framers working so fast, they're not always hitting the studs when they put that siding on. And there's always a risk of those nails coming through the sheathing and hitting a pipe or a wire. And I've never liked that risk. Again, on a custom home, we're taking our time, we're measuring things, we're popping lines, and that risk goes down. But on a spec home, sometimes that's not being done. Things are moving too quickly, and a nail could hit a pipe. So really for those two reasons, I thought about what can I do? How can I put the siding on first? Let these framers finish the job like they want to, but still be able to access the sheathing so that I can flash things properly. Usually my penetrations will get a mounting block on them anyways. So I thought, why can't I just take that mounting block off when the time comes, and then I can have access to the sheathing and be able to seal that penetration. So that's exactly what I've done. So when we do our siding, oftentimes I will put on a temporary mounting block. This is a temporary mounting block. Is meant to be thrown away. But now that this is here, I can take this off. I can do my liquid flashing here, and then I'm going to replace it with a final PVC mounting block that'll have the electrical connector attached to it. Here's another example. This is where a spigot is coming out. This is actually the final mounting block, but I'm going to take it off, seal that up with the liquid flash, and then I'll put it back on and kind of clean it up. Painters will help me clean that up and make it look nice. And let's just go ahead and walk around the house, and I'll show you a few more examples. Right there, that is actually where the hood vent is going to come out the sidewall. And there's no mounting block, but I've left the siding off. And when the painters painted, I had them cover it up, because eventually when I do seal that, we're going to put that vent through when we put the kitchen in. That way it's totally accurate. And then when I go to flash that with my zip tape, I want to actually be taping against the green part of the sheathing and not against the paint that the painters, painted. I don't want them to paint my sheathing, because I don't know how that's gonna perform. So I just had them cover it up. We'll just walk all the way around this house and look at some more examples. Actually here, kind of hard to see from here, but those sconce lights have the same sort of thing. We'll take a closer look at the sconce lights at the garage. Another spigot. Now this side of the house is getting more things. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll concentrate several things in the same area like this. I've got my AC copper. That tape right there is not how I flash it, by the way. That's going to be redone. But I've got a wire coming out for the AC power. I've got a wire coming out for the outlet. That'll get an Arlington inbox. And we've got the condensation line for the AC coming out. And since I've just concentrated all of these things in one area, it was easier just to leave the siding off. I'll deal with all these penetrations, get them sealed up properly. And then when the siders come back for their punch, they always come back one time for a punch. They'll go ahead and side that. Here we've got a couple of vents. This house has a pretty small rain screen on it. It's about an 1/8 inch to 3/16 rain screen. So I don't fur out the vents since the rain screen is so small anyways. But what I have done is I've sealed, before we put these on, I've sealed the back side of it for air sealing purposes. And then for water shedding purposes, we're gonna zip tape around it. Yeah, this is, the bigger one is for the makeup air damper. And this one is where the fresh air is going to come in for the ERV. Here we've got our pipes are loose right now, but I'm going to connect those on the other side. We'll take that mounting block off, seal around it, put it back on. Actually, there's going to be a video just about how I do my flashing. But in this video, what I'm really just showing is how to get set up for that step. And really the way that we are setting up is we're either putting a mounting block around something that's going to have a penetration, or I'm just leaving some siding off. Here I've got my cable. This is a temporary mounting block. I'm going to take this off, deal with this in a much better way, and then replace it with a PVC mounting block with an electrical connector on it. Same exact thing with the main panel here. And it's a temporary mounting block. I'm going to replace that. The only other thing to show in terms of mounting blocks are the sconce lights. I actually have already done one of them, but I'll show you before and after. Here's before. It's just a temporary mounting block. And then what I do after, on this side I've already done it. I'll take that mounting block off, flash the wire properly with either a liquid flash or a flex tape, and then I put it back together. You'll see the screws on there now, but painters will putty over that and make that look good later on. So that's it. Again, the two reasons why I'm putting the siding on first is because with spec home framing, you run the risk of nails hitting pipes and wires. So I'm eliminating that risk. But the other thing is, I am letting these framers finish their job, which they really want to do, and then they come back once for a punch list. That's it. We'll see you next time on Scott True Builds.